what if I were to tell you that you could take a simple sketch like this and use AI and turn it into an amazing landscape photo like this? And that you can even take it one step further and turn it into something really amazing like this. Today in the studio, we are going to be working on a tutorial that's going to teach you how you can create amazing landscapes using AI. This is going to be a lot of fun. My name's Ken Shinneberry and welcome to DYC Studios. So before we dive in, I have to do a little bit of preaching. Now, I think this is very important, not just for creatives, but also for brands and companies as well, too, that are implementing AI into their imagery, into their videos, into their graphics that they're producing and that they're sharing. I believe that you should always have a disclaimer saying that it was created using AI. Now, this can mention the platform that you use. It can kind of share the process. You don't have to give away your complete secret sauce, but it's good to be upfront, honest, authentic, genuine, and take that humanistic approach with your viewers. Especially, let's say you're an artist or a creative and you're looking for clients or maybe an employer, and they see your artwork or your images or your video and they're like, oh, wow, this is amazing, but can you tweak this just one little bit in this way and redesign this? This could get you caught in a corner. So as a creative, I think it's very important to mention that, hey, I used this piece of software, this platform, and did this technique to create this image using AI. Prompting does take a little bit of time to learn, and the more you learn it, the better you will be at it and the cooler images you will be able to make. Now, that being said, I also think you should only use AI platforms that source their images and train their AI in an ethical way, but that's a lecture for another day. We're going to dive in. I want to teach you really how to create an amazing landscape using two platforms together, which is going to be really fun, and I think you're going to really love it and be inspired. Okay, we are going to be using two platforms today. The first being NVIDIA Canvas, and then we're going to take what we created into NVIDIA Canvas and put it into Adobe Photoshop and use the power of Adobe Sensei and Firefly to up the level and coolness of that image and make something really amazing. Now with NVIDIA Canvas, it's super easy. In fact, my mom could use it. In fact, Mom, maybe that's a challenge for you. I'm going to come visit you and teach you NVIDIA Canvas and see if you can use it. See if you like it. Okay, I wonder if she will or not. Who knows? But when you have NVIDIA Canvas open, you have a few options already. You can create a 2D standard workflow, which is just a flat image, or a panorama view for 3D workflows, which is in beta. And then you have browse, which you can open files that you've already saved. So we're just going to stick with the standard 2D workflow because the 3D workflow is kind of weird and glitchy. And I don't really like it. So we're going to stick with this with a 2D workflow. We're going to hit continue. When this opens up, it pops up a canvas and then the live render image. So it renders live in real time, which is really kind of cool. I do like that. That is a really awesome feature. And the main thing over here is you're going to need to know your materials. Materials include sky, you have cloud, you have hill, you have mountain, you have water, you have mud, you have fog, you have snow, you have river, you have, sea, and then river. Flowers, which I can't get really to work out for some odd reason. Grass, straw, but not like straws and hay, but straws like wild straw. Bush, forest, stone, sand, gravel, mud, and stone wall, which is kind of a weird one. And then below that you have styles, which you can kind of adjust. In fact, I'm probably going to choose this style just to start out with. And then you have layers. And if you know layers like from Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign or even Adobe Express, then you know what layers are. Okay, and then the eye to turn off and hide things. Okay, now over on this side you have your tools, so whatever element or material that you have up. Right now we have clouds selected, so this is showing clouds. Then you have your brush, you have your line tool, you have an eraser, you have a fill tool, You have a material picker, not color picker, material picker. And then you have your pan tool, and then you have to increase the size of your brush. Up here you have a new file, open file, save file, export, undo, redo. And then you have, your zoom and your switch view and then render. Okay, so it's fairly easy. I think you're gonna really enjoy this. So the first thing we're gonna do is create a scene. And I could do something with water, but I think I'm gonna do something with a field and a path this time. So I'm just gonna create a path. I'm gonna use my line tool real quick, just to draw a line across. And then I'm going to, that looks kind of neat already. I love how that live renders. I click and see how it changes. That is so cool, right? And again, depending on what style you're using, it's going to affect things, and you can change the style after you created it. And I'll show you that a little bit later on. So don't worry, we will have some fun with things. So we do have our field right now. Something you might see, anywhere, flat field, okay? But I think we want to add a path, and I think we're going to use a dirt path. So I'm just going to take my line tool, create something like this, and I'm just going to take my tool right here, and I'm just going to create a path that kind of curves around. And right now this is all one layer, so it is what it is. It looks like a tractor is driven down this path, but when we go like this, it looks like a path. I'm gonna actually undo this real quick just so you can see. Maybe we'll do this in another layer just to show you. So let's do grass. Let's add a layer and do path, because I didn't feel like that was actually curving enough for me. I don't know why. It's not curving the way I want it, but that's okay. It's AI. Doesn't always do what you want it to do. Let's do dirt path. Okay, all right. But if we click on this, you can see how the style changes. So again, we're just kind of playing around. I just wanted something sunny and so forth. So we have a dirt path. I'm going to add another layer, and I think we're going to do straw. Straw is always fun. So I'm just going to paint some straw along here. And it'll do some weird things as you're building it up, right? So this is where this is coming in a little bit weird. And let's do the straw on the other side. Okay, all right. Very cool, interesting. And just to show you what style does, if I click and drag this, it changes how it's being rendered to some extent, which is kind of fun to play around with. That one, actually, I do like the way that looks. I might stick to that one, I don't know, but we'll play around. Okay, so we got that. We're gonna name this straw. Okay, I'm gonna create a new layer, and I'm gonna drag it down just like I would anything else. I'm going to drag it below, and we're going to create a hill right here. So let's create a hill. I'm just going to turn these off right now so I can see where my hill is going to be. Whoops. What if I do it on the layer? So we got a hill. Now if I turn the dirt path on, you can see we have a hill going right there. That looks kind of cool, right? All right, so maybe we'll do another hill on the other side. Whoops, edit, undo. Somewhere. Ah, see what I did? When I was doing that, I didn't get it all the way over. That's why it's nice to hide your layers and do things if you're doing things like this. It looks like kind of weird, like that looks kind of unique without it and stuff. I might change the straw as well too. Just click delete. Yes. Add a new layer. Now let's add some straw and see what happens if we can just do a little bit of straw here and there. Just curious. I love how it just changes everything, and that's what's fun. You can really have a lot of fun with this. So I think I'm going to add some like bushes here and there. I don't know what'll happen. Again, let's name this straw real quick. Add a layer. Let's do bushes. Oops. And maybe we'll paint some bushes here and there. And it's just really kind of cool how it evolves. And again, you know, it's not like creating bushes like hedges like you picture in front of a house, right? It's just doing some other unique things with it. Like if we were to turn the straw off, you could see, oh, I kind of like it with off, because now it looks like it's got like some wildflowers growing. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. But maybe we want to add another layer, and then let's take this below this. So this was our hill. And I think maybe we'll put some trees on our hill. It's interesting how it's going. I do kind of think that's kind of neat. It looks like a path, so we got that. Let's add another layer. Maybe let's take this layer down below, in between, and do some I like that. It's coming along. It's getting kind of cool. That's kind of neat. That's kind of cool. I do like that. I'm going to try something, and I've gotten it to work before, so let's just name this kind of like plants. I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work, guys, but we're going to try. I got a little tree right there. That's kind of interesting. I wish you could move things around though. I wish there was like this just moves the canvas around. It doesn't move the image. Like I would love to like pick this up and replace it, you know, and put it somewhere else. That would be kind of interesting for me. But that's fine. We'll name that tree. Okay. Maybe we go back. This is just plants. Don't know why you're not taking plants. Because maybe I already have it named. Okay, all right. Let's add another layer. I'm just gonna try to do mountains in the background. I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe it's gonna be cool, maybe it's not. I don't know. Interesting. Not exactly what I wanted, but you know, it is what it is. I need to hide the grass just to see. Well, I would need to hide everything. Oops, edit, undo. Then we can turn on things and see how it regrows. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Do we want the straw or no? No. It's gotten kind of neat. It's gotten really kind of, I like it. I don't love it, but it is what it is, right? Maybe I want to create a little bit of gravel. And gravel doesn't really create gravel like you think gravel would be. It's just like... See how it kind of adjusts things? Oops, I don't like that one. But kind of created a little bit of rocks along the path. I don't know. But I'm still kind of curious. I would like to see... Oh, I did it on there too. So let's add gravel. And then let's add a new layer. I'm going to try to see if I can do a little bit of... So I do like the straw. Although with the straw, it kind of makes it less green. Okay. But just to show you through the styles, if we were to click on this variation, we could kind of then play with it and see what style. Ooh, that looks kind of nifty right there. I like that. Some things work, some things don't. That's kind of cool. Ooh, this one I kind of like, except for the mountain part gets a little messy. But I do like that one. I don't know why it's doing that with the mountain. That's kind of funny. That one's got more like mountain ranges in the background. But you can play with these and really have a lot of fun. Get like some, you know, northern lights going. Really cool what you can do. That looks kind of creepy, like Walking Dead. That's kind of nice. That's neat as well too, except I don't know why it's doing that with the mountain. Again, oh, that's interesting how that suddenly became like a wooden thing. That's not so bad. But you can have a lot of fun with this. Really, like, you could spend hours on this just really kind of goofing and having fun. I do want to play with that and see what happens when I remove a couple things. So if I were to get rid of the hill and then no, I'm just curious. Sometimes you gotta play around with things a little bit. That's kind of nice. I like this one. This one's, it's got some wildflowers growing. It's got some things going right here. You know, maybe we need to get rid of the one tree. That's straw. But I do like this one. I think this is the one I'm going to take over into Photoshop and play with. But I will add a... That's kind of cool. Okay, we got rid of that one. We'll get rid of that one. Let's add a new layer. What was this one? Straw. Why did it... straw. If you already named a layer, you have to name it something different for the layer name to click. It doesn't give you a warning like in Photoshop or something like that. So let's just add a cloud. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I don't know. Let's just add a little cloud. Right here. Maybe one. That looks kind of nice. I mean, minus the little weird formation. Something like that. That looks kind of cool. I like, this is a really cool scene. This looks like a scene where my wife would go hiking. Okay, granted this little piece of grass right here could go bye-bye. Because it is kind of like suddenly this goes up and then this goes down. Okay, but again, this looks really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this image and we're going to take it over into Adobe Photoshop and kind of play with it there. So we are now in Adobe Photoshop and we're going to have a little bit of fun with this image. And the first thing that we're going to do is kind of expand the image, because I think it would be kind of neat to see how this would look like if we made this a little bit bigger. So using the crop tool, and this is kind of cool, is once you kind of click on this, you can crop it and drag this out a little bit longer. So if you want it a little bit wider, give it a prompt, see what it does. You could have just expanded it without a prompt, but I was curious to see. Ooh, that's kind of nifty. I don't know what's going on there. That's got a little pipe. That's kind of weird. That could be cool if we add more trees. But first I want to get rid of this, because that's weird. I could have did, you know, content aware fill as well too. But let's just play around and see what happens. There we go. Got a couple variations. That was all right. Just gonna move this over here, and then maybe we will adjust this with a little bit more. Let's do But this is really nice right here. And we can see which one works best. I don't know why it's rounding. It's kind of weird. It's fish-eyeing on me a little bit. Let's take the crop tool again. Let's expand this. I want to do kind of rule of thirds and see what happens if I do this far. So let's type in hill with wildflower. Let's see. I don't know, but let's see what happens. I like the idea of kind of dragging it out that way. Maybe it's going to work, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. It's always like, you know, you got to play with things a little bit, nudge it a little bit with AI. It may give you what you want the first time. It may not. Ooh, that looks kind of nifty. That's a little too blurry. I do like that to some extent, but let's do generate another variation. But I do like that. I do. Now it feels like a place that my wife would go walking, to be honest with you. It really feels like, you know, she would go like hiking there. Ah, little poppy flowers there. Wow. I don't like the tree. That I do. That's kind of nifty. Because it kind of brings you in, like, you know, right here into that. This could be a little bit more. Maybe we want to take the clone stamp and it's fine. I'm happy with that. I do want to fix one thing. And again, this is like where, you know, you need to learn how to adjust things. So let's do just generate and see what happens. I wanted to clear that ground a little bit. I should go down a little bit more. One thing I should have did was create a new layer. I could do content aware fill. If it doesn't do it with the AI, well, generative AI, then just do content aware fill. That'll fix that up like in 2 seconds. Something like that's fine. Zoom out. I got this nice photo right there, and see how it's changed so much already. I love this. This is really cool, right? We started out with this little square image. Just to kind of click back, I can open it up. So we started out with this, and we've turned it already into this within like a couple seconds. This is really awesome. Now the next thing I want to do maybe is we're just going to play with sky replacement. This can be a lot of fun. So we can kind of choose something maybe and give it a different sky. Whoops. Oh, you know what? Maybe let's do cancel. Let's do merge. Let's just flatten image. Okay. Now let's do file or sky replacement. My bad. Put this over here. File. I was doing something wonky because I was playing with it, but there we go. Now we can adjust things. And look at this. And I love how it adjusts like the color as well too. Like it gives it like, you know, a little bit more. So we can kind of play with things and stuff and see what happens. That looks really neat. That's a mess. Okay. That one I admit, that one didn't turn out. That's kind of cute, right? But you can do like blue sky. Get some clouds up there. It's doing something weird with this area, but that's something we can always fix in Photoshop as well too. It's not picking this up as sky for some odd reason, but That's okay. I don't mind it. It's not looking so bad. But isn't that fun? How you can like change, and this would just take hours to go around every little leaf and every little stem, whatever. Just how it just changes the overall look and feel of things. I like the little rainbow. That's really nice. I don't know why that one's acting weird. It's stretching it or doing something funky. But this one's really nice. That I feel is almost too rounded. That's not so bad. But I feel it takes focus from the tree out. That's kind of nifty. But it's doing some weird things with the clouds. I don't know why it's doing that. That looks like bad weather is coming. Go to sunset, see what sunsets we have. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's a little too yellowy in the sky. That's kind of neat too. It looks kind of like surreal, like you're walking into kind of like a dreamlike place, right? I think I'm gonna go with this one. Because I like that a lot with the flowers, and just it adds that kind of glow to it. That is kind of neat. And you could upload like a new sky to it by doing this. I haven't tried that out, but really kind of cool. You can do like shift edge a little bit. So if you wanted to move it one way or another way. You could adjust the brightness and things of that. You could do flip. I kind of like it that way. You can do your lighting modes and really adjust this and really kind of play with it a little bit. I think that's kind of cool. Output to a new layer. No. There we go. Something like this. That's kind of nice. And see, this is what it did on the inside of it. That's really neat, right? So let's just do flatten. And I shouldn't be flattening. I should have saved my original image in the beginning and did, you know, multiple layers on top of it. That way I always had a safety. So that was a bad Ken. But I just want to kind of show you guys how, you know, you can go through and kind of fix things and make things a little bit nicer and stuff like this. So let's do edit content aware fill, and first that's no worries. We're going to paint a sample area real quick. And get rid of there we go, something like that. That's fine. I didn't really have to do a lot of adjustments on this one, to be honest with you. And some things, you know, are all right, but look at this image right here. This is a really cool image. We did a nice walkthrough of NVIDIA Canvas. It was really cool. We took this childlike drawing right here and turned it into this image, which is really nice. It looks like a nice little landscape image, right?
and then we pop that into Adobe Photoshop. And with the help of Adobe's AI through Sensei and Firefly, we created this. Now I did go back to this image and added a little bit of a vignette to it, which is really cool and adds that extra little bit of pop, and I did a couple little more editing things. Again, I do think it's very cool to stay up on top of your editing and your regular graphic design software. Don't just rely on AI things, you know, because you might need to touch things up, you might need to do things. Again, also I feel that it's very important as a creative to use that disclaimer that I talked to you about in the beginning. Let people know that you used AI to create your image. Be honest, be trustworthy, be authentic and genuine. You know, also say what platform you used. It shows that you understand other technology, new technology, and new platforms, and that you're able to work with them. That's not a bad thing. And then try to only use platforms that are dealing with AI in an ethical manner, that they're not just scrubbing the web and laundering data, that they're taking an ethical approach to training their AI. And I think Adobe is doing a really good job at that. Now, that could be up for debate, but you know, I think they're doing a really good job, better than some of the other tools that are out there. But if you really like this tutorial, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see other tutorials, also let me know in the comments. I like focusing on marketing, PR, design, and games, and I stream every week on Behance, so I cover almost any topic that's out there, from tools and tech to creativity to, hey, just ways to really rock your world. So guys, make sure you guys give me a like, give me a subscribe, because that's going to be the most important thing for me as a content creator, for you guys just to like that video and give it a subscribe. We're going to catch you guys on the next one, and as always, happy creating.